Hey folks, welcome back. It's Lucid, and we've got another turn for you here with Mountain Arena. And we start off with a message from Miklin. I finally now hit the stage where I'm able to start massing sacreds. My capital makes just 5 a turn, and I get 3 per turn. But Sarmatia is producing 6 per turn, and I'm also ramping up Ocelotl production. I expect to be doing 9 per turn and in steady state pretty soon. I've got about 100 blood slaves banked, but I'm only running one caster right now, since I'm prioritizing research and site searching. Van Heers are definitely stronger than what I can make, and I suspect he has about as many sacreds as I do right now, given that doesn't sound like Niflheim has killed much. So don't want to pick a fight with him quite yet, but I'm willing, but we'll be gearing up for war with Vanheim and thinking about a timing for ending my nap. In more fun news, the Smoking Mirror Pretender has Bringer Fortune 10, and thanks to that, I now have 10 candles and 40 PD in my capital. So I'm now pretty resistant to Dom Kill without spreading my scales. Cool. And I sent a message to everyone, letting them know that I hadn't been sending them messages individually, but I wanted to thank them for sending them to me. So, since we got a message from Miklin, we will start in the Miklin Theater. Miklin is just going to town taking all of Niflheim stuff this turn. Like, yep, we'll be taking this whole thing. Yep. I don't know whether Niflheim gave him permission, but Niflheim certainly can't do anything about it. I don't know whether they had an official non-aggression pact, but they definitely had like an agreement about a distribution of land. But if Niflheim is not able to protect his capital, it's maybe in a bad way. I mean, he's losing to Van Heers without even Great Swords of Sharpness. These guys have no gear on them. So I guess they're coming back for a cap defense. He kills this big PD dump, losing some Lizard Warriors. And the Van Heers just blender everything here. Look at this. So the Lizards take on the Elephants, which is good, because you really don't want the Elephants trampling your Van Heers. Van Heers are a little vulnerable to Elephants if the Elephants get a couple rounds of trampling. Okay, so I actually had the Mounted Herdman run here, I believe. So a fair amount of stuff retreated, even though he didn't lose much value. And the ghouls remain on top of this fort. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. So we don't really have a ton of movement over here. Presumably he's going to go on top of the cap. I don't think the Nifl Jarls can get back from a swamp to the cap. But maybe they can. Maybe they can. Yeah, I think it's going to be bad news for Vanheim. I'm putting my money very strongly on Miklin. I mean, really hard-hitting Sacreds with decent attack skill are going to just murder these Van Heers. It's like, oh, I have a Thug Resistance Bless. It's like, yeah, you're going to lose to this shit, I think. That's my expectation. Okay. So anyway, that's this whole column. Coming over to Ubar. Ooh. The real question is, there was no movement down here. Ubar moved from this fort down here, expecting Yomi to fight. Yomi did not fight. Though it's possible, I don't see Bakemono here, and I know he had Bakemono here, so it's possible the Bakemono have snuck here and will hit somewhere one province behind this. Oh, he has attacked down here with some Jin and a Shaitan. Pretty risky. I think he lost some of those guys a turn ago. Found a decent magic site, but is not able to trace income. I don't think this deep raiding is necessarily going to be critical, especially when you can't really hold it. You can't seduce Dione or corrupt them very easily, so yeah, I don't know. It's looking rough. Okay. Tianchi is attacking Hinnom. He's storming the fort. There are a few fun wagons, a Melkwort, oh man. Some Dawn Guard. TNG's cast some Swarm. And the fun wagons get to work, doing fun things. I don't know what he's doing with this Melkwort here. I mean, I don't think this guy's really done anything. Okay, he's done Iron Skin. Animate Dead. Nothing of consequence has been cast. Iron Skin's not going to matter against a lot of these guys. Ooh, who wins? Ooh, that's an ethereal one, though. He's gone Berserk. He's got 18 protection, 14 defense. This one's ethereal with Moss Body. Ooh. The fun wagons do not last long. I'm sure they killed some in the couple seconds they were engaged in melee, because fun wagons are really killy. But watch what happens to this Melkwort. It's not going to be pretty. He's pretty high protection. Okay, but yeah, these demons hurt him too. I think that demon hit him for 21. And 3, and 2, and 1. Yeah, the demon did actually a shit ton of the work here. 10, 6, 21, 5. I mean, he did half the killing. The Melkor was much more resistant to these guys than I expected. I was expecting with this many attacks, with quickness on some of them, they would just blender him up anyway. But they were pretty resistant. We have a Cohen here. Not long for the world. Yeah, it's possible actually maybe a Melkor could have tanked it, but you would have needed probably Construction 4 gear and some other stuff. Nah. That was cool. Yeah, we look at the Butcher's Ledger. 5 Warriors of the 5 Elements. The Charioteers are the only things that really killed anything. Melkort got on the scoreboard killing one dude before he heroically died. Yeah, I mean, this is an extremely killy TNG blast. You do not want stuff in melee with this. This army hasn't really been weakened either. I think he had tried retreating out a previous turn, but then retreated back inside the fort. I would have been retreating out every turn until he stormed. Because it's just a death sentence for dudes inside. And now I don't know. I mean, I think TNG's got plenty of time to come over here and finish off Hinnom. The only risk is that Yomi and Ubar strike some sort of peace. But I don't really see that happening. Coming over to Lanka, we have a battle. So I think okay. So Machaca has been summoning some stuff inside. He's going to go down swinging. He's got some shades as well. More ethereal stuff to die to magic weapons. I think the plan here is get the wolves through the gate so the gate doesn't become too much of a clusterfuck. And probably summon a ton of imps and then let these guys go ham. There's a lot of Lion Warriors. I mean, he can really clog this gate up with stuff. And he's got enough archers. No. Wait, can he not do Phoenix Power? He doesn't have any way to do Flaming Arrows. I think if he had Flaming Arrows, he has a shot here. Because I think he can clog this gate up for a while. And this is not really what you want. Ooh, that's a lot of imps, though. It wouldn't be a problem, but they're going to rout these pygmies, I think. And then some air elementals coming in. Very well done from Lanka. He's got the quickness dudes that have pushed past the mantises and the wolves. And they're starting to clear out the gate. The imps are gone, and the archers haven't routed. No, the Hoburgs have, but the slingers haven't. Here's, I think, where if he had Phoenix Power, Phoenix Power and, whatchamacallit, Flaming Arrows, I think he would have won this, actually. I think he would have. I think he would have. I mean, it would have really helped if the Hoburgs, or no, these Pygmies, not Hoburgs, if the Pygmies didn't run. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he would have won. Because it's going to be reasonably close. Because these Lion Warriors are no joke. And does he win? Do they get routed by like a last second? The Sleeping Clouds? Oh, they can't kill the Mage Core. They've routed. Wow, that was so close. Yeah, they totally would have fucking won. All I needed was Flaming Arrows. I mean, when you rush Flaming Arrows, you don't really want to have one... Oh my god, that Thunderstrike. Jesus Christ, that was done with prejudice. Yeah, when you rush the Flaming Arrows, you don't really want to only have one caster. I can't remember if he had Phoenix Power, but if he did, he could have gotten... who was it? The Lion King to cast it? But... yeah, I think that's actually the end of Machaca. No, he's got another province somewhere. Am I blind? Oh, here it is. This swamp. So yeah, that's basically the end of Machaca. May the great celestial lion forever rest in peace and be long remembered. This is a pretty cool war. I mean, Machaca, I think, played this really well in the sense of, like, they had a kind of wacky build. If you take an Ethereal Bless, it's going to have so much to do with who you neighbor. And I think neighboring, like, quickness, magic weapons, and Lanka, pretty much up there on, like, some of the worst things to neighbor with that build. So it was like an out there build. It's not something we ever see. This is why. However, he realized, like, okay, this build's not going to be very good against Lanka. And he shifted his whole thing. He shifted to, like, okay, we're not going to worry about Sacreds. We're going to be slamming Archers, which was the totally the right call. We're going to switch Research, go for Flaming Arrows. You know, if he maybe made that decision a couple turns sooner, the war could have gone differently. The other thing is there was an opportunity where Lanka was on this fort and attacked here, and this was a pretty predictable move. And Machaca had a lot of stuff. He might not have had Flaming Arrows researched yet, but if he did, he could have probably moved everything here, taken a fight and turned the whole war around. But again, you know, he might not have had it researched. There could have been a bunch of other factors, I don't know. But just trying to help paint in your mind, help you imagine how this war could have gone differently. But very cool matchup. Early age Machaca, very strong, good nation. But they got basically completely all-in by Lanka, and it worked. So, very cool battle. Thanks to both players for that. Now we have the battle between the forces that want to wear no pants and the elves. And the elves are very bunched up. There's magma kids, though. Oh, that is a lot of lightning bolts. TNN is all in. TNN is saying, look, get the fuck out of here. We're going to zap you with lightning. I mean, he's bringing his whole mage crew. I don't know how many mages this is, but this is basically all the TNN mages. He recognizes he is all in. If he loses this battle, he's probably going to lose the game. He says, fuck it, we're going for it. Let's see, what is You Cannot Make Me Wear Pants? What is he wearing? I mean, he's got a lot of lightning resistance. I think the army with him is a mistake. Oh no, but there's Great Sword of Sharpness thugs. It's possible you can kill these. Not by trampling them. Yeah, I don't know the best way to deal with the Great Swords of Sharpness legs. They're not going to be able to kill him quickly, right? With like they'll kill him, but it's going to be really hard for them to kill him with Trample, as we saw, and him running around. He's still not even to his reach-in threshold yet. I think he is now, yeah. I think the army's just gonna HP route him. Oh, this guy's got a big fucking club. Jesus Christ. Area of effect 1? Huh. That's a big fucking club. Oh, he's fatigued out. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a yikes. I mean, guys, this is the problem with it. You can't trample around with 7 encumbrance. It doesn't matter if you have 8 reinvigoration. Trample, you just use so much reinvigoration. And like, I totally get having the black steel full plate. I feel like here, and I don't know, I haven't tested this. I feel like you're better off with this build doing a bit lower protection armor. You know, especially once you have temper flesh. You're not going to have that much less protection. And really, especially if you're putting... Maybe if he's by himself, you like go with this, right? Especially as part of an army, you want him having lower encumbrance armor. Just so he doesn't fatigue out so quickly. He's getting the swamp encumbrance penalty too. Maybe not the greatest place to have the last stand for this god. Or not the last stand, but the big stand. Because that's going to dramatically decrease how many times he can trample. And what you really don't want for this god is to stand still. Because if he gets standing still for like 3 rounds while he has to get his fatigue back, and he's got like 2 or 3 Great Swords of Sharpness casters, that's what they need to be able to melee him down. Him to stand still for a certain number of turns. And I can understand wanting to have pretty high protection. I mean, these golden spears hurt for a lot. The Elves are going into melee now, and they're not doing super well. And, Can't Make Me Wear Pants makes his retreat. So, yeah, I'd say this worked pretty well. For the Elves, anyhow. They didn't lose much that was important. And Agartha lost a lot. Agartha's making a mistake here by, like, splitting their army up. Like, when somebody's doom stacking at you, you don't throw, like, medium commitment stuff around. You can maybe try to tank it with a super combatant. But he's totally split. And I get it, he's trying to, like, catch Elves. But I think it's really kind of come back to bite him here. So we'll have to see. I feel like Agartha should have won this a little better, but TNN's been playing really well. Okay. So this is pretty interesting. I feel like if TNN keeps pushing, like this is a bit of the conflict TNN's in. For them to have any chance of successfully pushing, they need their Mage Core, I think. But if they use their Mage Core in this army, they're like on the clock. Like, they got to make things happen. And that means you might take fights you shouldn't, like attacking here. Like, attacking into this, if Agartha does a PD dump here, patrols, whatever, maybe moves in. I don't know if these Magma kids can make it. Then these guys are looking in a very, very bad way. Like, they'll kill the... I think if I PD dumped here, patrolled so they can't sneak through, it's going to be an exceptionally bad day for these guys. You're also not having the swamp penalty for encumbrance, which is really bad for tramplers. Like, this is going to just make a mess of the Elves. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I think it would go. This will also tear the Elves up, these Ice Drakes. Okay. Very cool. A lot of counter raiding going on, but I don't know where there weren't any raiding battles. So he's kind of out there, you know, he's jousting with shadows. He's trying to hit elves that aren't even there, which is what you have to do to fight elves, right? Because the second you stop thinking the elves are there, they show up. So this is good. But yeah, I think that's that. And I think that brings us back to where we started. So I hope you enjoyed. Was a pretty quick one. We'll see you next time. Take care.